emperor. There was excitement at the palace. Worn out shoes, the emperor sighed. Bring me the old shoemaker. I need new shoes, he cried. I've heard you have little elves who make shoes by candlelight. Please ask them as a favor if they will work for me tonight. I have pajamas made from silk and a nightcap with a feather. So all I need are slippers cut from the softest feather. In return, my wife the queen will make the elves new suits. They can wear them to a party with matching pairs of boots. They climbed out of the window and danced and skipped away. They didn't want to be seen when the emperor woke that night. The emperor got up in the morning and went straight to his shelves. "What perfect slippers!" he exclaimed. "Such clever little elves!" The emperor was delighted. He was the best dressed man in town. He wore his elegant slippers with his velvet robe and crown. He wore them to the races, on his horse and on his ship. He wore them to the market when he made a royal trip. He shuttered round the market stalls and looked at some bananas. Suddenly, a boy yelled out, "The emperor's in pajamas!" He looked down at his clothes and said, "I do look rather silly. A man who is as grand as me should wear something far less frilly." "What about a suit?" "Suit?" he said. "I've got one that will fit." And turning to the elves, he cried, "I'll need shoes to go with it." That night, the kings and queens arrived for a feast of meat and fruit, and the emperor made an entrance in his royal bathing suit. The end. The elves and the shoemaker. Once upon a time, there was a poor shoemaker and his wife. "This is all the leather I have left," said the poor shoemaker. "I can make just one pair of shoes." That night, the shoemaker cut the leather. "I'll make the shoes in the morning," he said. He left the leather in the shop and went to bed. The next morning, the shoemaker came downstairs. To his surprise, the leather had been made into a pair of beautiful shoes. The shoemaker called his wife. "Did you make the shoes?" "No," said his wife. "I didn't make those shoes." Just then, a rich lady came into the shop. She picked up the shoes. "These are the most beautiful shoes I have ever seen," she said. She gave the shoemaker 3 gold coins. With the money, the shoemaker bought some more leather. That night, the shoemaker cut out 2 pairs of shoes. He left the leather on the table and went to bed. In the morning, there were 2 pairs of shoes on the table. The shoemaker called his wife. "Did you make these shoes?" "No," said his wife. "I didn't make those shoes." That very morning, a rich man came into the shop. "What beautiful shoes," said the man. "I must have them. I will pay you 6 gold coins." The shoemaker bought some more leather. "Now I can make 3 pairs of shoes," he said. He worked late into the night cutting the leather, then he went to bed. The next morning, the shoemaker came downstairs. On the table were 3 pairs of beautiful shoes. The shoemaker called his wife. "We must find out who is making these beautiful shoes for us," said the shoemaker. The next night, the shoemaker worked very hard. He cut the leather for 4 pairs of shoes, but this time the shoemaker and his wife hid in the shop. At midnight, the door of the shop opened and came 2 little elves dressed in rags. They jumped up onto the table and opened their little green bags. The elves stretched and sewed and hammered all night. By morning, they had made 4 pairs of shoes. Then they picked up their bags and ran out of the shop. The shoemaker said to his wife, "The elves have helped us, but how can we help them?" "I know what we can do," said his wife. The shoemaker and his wife worked very hard. They made 2 pairs of little green shoes, some little green clothes, and 2 little green hats. That night, they left the little green shoes, hats, and clothes in the shop. Then they hid again. At midnight, the door of the shop opened, and the elves came in. When they saw the little green shoes, the little green clothes, and the little green hats, they were very surprised. They put them on at once. The little elves went on helping the shoemaker and his wife to make beautiful shoes, and the shoemaker and his wife made more clothes for the little elves. And the shoemaker and his wife and the two little elves all lived happily ever after. The end. Snow White and the Enormous Turnip. Snow White lived in a castle with her stepmother, the queen, who had a magic mirror and was jealous, cruel, and mean. Each day the queen woke up and said, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, tell me I'm the prettiest and the fairest maid of all." The magic mirror flashed and said, "Dear queen, I tell you true, Snow White is no much prettier and far more fair than you." The queen screamed out, "Woodcutter, take this crook and big brown hood. Leave Snow White to die alone in the heart of Turnip Wood." But the woodcutter loved Snow White, so he left her at the door of 7 dwarfs who took her in and loved her even more. Snow White planted seeds and gardened every day. One turnip grows so fast, so fat and round that it stuck fast in the clay. All the dwarfs tugged and pulled. Snow White's face turned quite pink. "This turnip's just too big," she said. "We need more help, I think." At the castle, the jealous queen asked her mirror on the wall, "Am I now the fairest maid?" "No, Snow White is fairer than you all." The queen set out to kill Snow White and thought of a wicked plan. She dressed herself in a disguise and down to the wood she ran. The 7 dwarfs were with Snow White as she rested by a tree. "Try a tasty tart," said the queen. "It will give you energy." But the apple tart was poisoned, and Snow White fell to the ground. The queen was sure her plan had worked, till a prince came riding home. He knelt beside the pale Snow White and kissed her lovely head. And when she woke, he helped to pull the turnip from its bed. Snow White got married to the prince. The queen began to cry. And to celebrate, the dwarfs served up an enormous turnip pie. The end. Snow White and the 7 dwarfs. Snow White and the 7 dwarfs. Once upon a time, a beautiful queen had a baby girl. The baby's skin was as white as snow, and she had beautiful black hair. The queen called her baby Snow White. But soon the queen died and the king married again. The new queen was beautiful, but she was very weak. She had a magic mirror. Every day she asked it, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?" And every day the mirror said, "You, queen, are the fairest of them all." Snow White grew up and she looked more beautiful every day. One day, when the queen went to her mirror, it said, "Snow White is the fairest of them all." The queen was angry. She didn't want to live with anyone more beautiful than herself. She called for her huntsman and said, "Take Snow White into the forest and kill her." So the huntsman took Snow White into the forest. They went on and on all day, but he could not kill her. She was too beautiful. "Run away," he said. "The queen wants to kill you. You must never come back. If you do, you will die." Snow White ran away into the forest. Soon she came to a little house. She couldn't run any more, so she opened the door and went in. In the house, she saw a table with 7 little chairs. Then she saw 7 little beds. "These beds are so little," said Snow White. "Whoever could sleep in them?" Snow White was so tired that she went to sleep on the beds. Soon the little men came lived in the house came back. They were 7 dwarfs who worked in the mines. They saw Snow White sleeping. "What is this beautiful girl doing in our house?" they asked. Suddenly, Snow White woke up. "Who are you?" said Snow White. "We are the 7 dwarfs," said the biggest of the dwarfs. Snow White told them that the wicked queen wanted to kill her, and that she had run away. The dwarfs looked at one another. Then the biggest of the dwarfs said, "You must stay here. You will be safe in this house." The dwarfs told Snow White that she must never talk to anyone who came to the door. Back at the castle, the queen went to her room. "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?" she asked. The mirror said, "Snow White is the fairest of them all." The queen was very angry. She put on some old clothes and went into the forest. There she found a little house. The dwarfs were out at work, so the queen knocked on the door. "Do you want to see my beautiful ribbons?" she asked. Snow White opened the door to look at the ribbons. At once the queen put a ribbon around Snow White's neck so that Snow White could not breathe. When the dwarfs came back and found Snow White, they took the ribbon off and put her to bed. Soon she woke up. They told her that she must never open the door to anyone ever again. But the next time the queen looked in the mirror, it said, "Snow White is the fairest of them all." The queen was very angry again. "I kill Snow White once and for all," she said. Once again, the queen put on old clothes and went to the little house. This time, she had some beautiful combs. When she came to the house, she knocked on the door. "The dwarfs told me not to talk to anyone who comes to the door," said Snow White. "Then I will put a comb by the door and go," said the queen. When the queen had done, Snow White took the comb and put it on in her hair. The comb had poison in it, and Snow White fell asleep. When the dwarfs came back, they looked after Snow White and made her well again. The queen didn't go to her magic mirror for some time, but then one day she asked the mirror, mirror, mirror on the wall, "Who is the fairest of them all?" And the mirror said, "Snow White is the fairest of them all." The queen was angrier than ever. She went out to find Snow White and one last time. Snow White was making the beds. This time the door was open a little, and Snow White saw a woman with some apple. "A beautiful apple for a beautiful girl," said the woman. Snow White went to the woman and took an apple. As soon as Snow White picked the apple, she fell and died. When the dwarfs came back, they tried to help her, but it was too late. Snow White could not be woken. The dwarfs are very sad. After a time, they put Snow White in a glass coffin on a hillside. She looked as if she was sleeping. One day, a prince came by. He saw Snow White lying in the coffin and fell in love with her. The prince opened the glass coffin and kissed Snow White. The kiss woke her. She saw the prince and fell in love at once. "Will you marry me?" asked the prince. "I will," said Snow White. Very soon, Snow White and the prince were married and everyone came to see. The wicked queen was there too. When she saw Snow White, she was so angry that she ran away and was never seen again. And Snow White and the prince and all the 7 little dwarfs lived happily ever after. The end.